Welcome back, everyone, to another Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're tackling something, well, it's one of the most widely discussed, yet honestly frequently misunderstood dynamics in the entire modern workplace. We're going to take some pretty dense academic theories of organizational behavior and decode them. We're turning them into practical, everyday tools you can actually use. Today, we're tracing the really fascinating evolution of leadership.
So I want you to think about your current workplace for a second, or maybe a past job, and ask yourself this: is a manager always a leader? We tend to just throw those words around interchangeably, right? But assuming that holding a managerial title automatically grants you leadership status, that is a massive trap. Having a corner office doesn't magically mean people actually want to follow you.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with what leadership actually is, then we'll run through the theories of leadership, see some styles in action, look at functions and effectiveness, identify the qualities of effective leaders, and finally, we'll wrap up with the concept of the agile leader.
Right, so section 1, what is leadership? Let's define the concept.
This is where the confusion usually starts, honestly. Management is, well, it's mechanical. It involves planning, organizing, coordinating, and controlling operations just to hit those organizational goals. A manager has formal authority handed down to them. Leadership, on the flip side, is entirely human-centric. It's the process of influencing people and truly inspiring them. Now, a manager is absolutely more effective if they're also a good leader, but you can definitely have leadership in a completely informal group without any managerial title at all.
I absolutely love this quote from George R. Terry because it hinges on one very specific word. He defines leadership as the activity of influencing people to strive willingly for group objectives. Did you catch it? Willingly. True leadership isn't about positional power or forcing compliance. It's about interpersonal interaction. It's about your team accepting your guidance because they genuinely want to, not because they feel like they have to.
So the crucial question is, why does this matter to you and your organization? Well, leadership provides the clear direction needed to actually achieve your goals. Good leadership motivates employees. It offers support and recognition, and that drastically raises morale. Leaders also actively shape the organizational culture, building a climate of trust. And, maybe most importantly for today's world, leadership is exactly what helps teams understand, accept, and adapt to change.
All right, moving on to section 2, theories of leadership. Let's take a quick historical perspective. First up is trait theory. You've probably heard that old saying, leaders are born, not made. Well, spoiler alert, it's a total myth. This theory suggested that success depends purely on innate personality traits. But researchers quickly realized this is totally flawed. Why? Because there is absolutely no universally agreed upon list of traits that guarantee a successful leader. Plus, these traits are incredibly difficult to even measure. The truth is, leadership is an acquired skill. It's definitely not a genetic lottery.
So, moving past traits, we arrive at behavioral theory. This breaks behavior down into two dimensions: initiating structure, which is super task-oriented, versus consideration, which is employee-oriented. Studies from the state of Michigan showed that production-centered leaders, the ones who treat employees like mere tools of production, they just end up causing terrible morale. But employee-centered leaders, the ones who genuinely care for their team's well-being and bring them into the goal-setting process, are far, far more effective. But wait, what if the perfect behavior actually changes based on the environment? Enter situational theory. Fred E. Fieler's model completely revolutionized things by proving that leadership is absolutely not one-size-fits-all. Your effectiveness depends on 3 situational factors. First, your relations and trust with your followers. Second, the task structure, like is the work routine or non-routine. And third, your actual position power in the organization. Basically, the best approach depends entirely on the specific situation you're in.
Which brings us to section 3, leadership styles in action, from autocratic to democratic.
I want you to reflect on your own experiences working under these two heavily contrasting styles. The autocratic leader centralizes all power, exercising complete control over their subordinates. It's very much a my way or the highway vibe, which, let's be honest, eventually kills morale and productivity. Contrast that with the democratic style. This is where the leader consults the group and actually encourages participation in decision-making. This style develops potential, provides incredible job satisfaction, and really boosts morale.
Then there's the third style, laissez-faire. This is a completely hands-off approach.
Subordinates are basically just left alone to make decisions and do the work however they like. Now, while that might sound like wonderful freedom at first glance, without any active guidance, it can easily slide into total chaos. Imagine a project where everyone is doing entirely their own thing with zero coordination. Yeah, it can very easily lead to massive mismanagement.
So you're probably wondering, which style is best? Well, it actually falls on a continuum. Tannenbaum and Schmidt observed that the successful manager can be primarily characterized neither as a strong leader nor as a permissive one. Instead, the truly great leaders are insightful and flexible. They assess all the specific forces at play, themselves, their team, the problem, the time pressure, and they adapt their style to exactly what that specific moment requires.
Let's jump into Section 4, Functions and Effectiveness of Leadership.
Now, a leader's job definitely overlaps with management, but it includes some really vital, unique functions. A leader actively develops a favorable work environment to build real teamwork. They have to act as the group's representative, serving as a crucial link to communicate any grievances up to top management. They also have to step in as a counselor when subordinates face technical or even emotional problems. Ultimately, they secure the group's effectiveness by delegating authority, providing rewards, and ensuring everyone has adequate resources.
All these functions really boil down to a managerial grid of effectiveness. It's all about balancing a concern for people with a concern for production, and this divide is fascinating. An effective style is the developer who actively builds people up, or the executive who perfectly balances both task and morale. Conversely, you have the ineffective styles. This includes the autocrat who only cares about work and high-handed management, or honestly, even worse, the deserter. That's someone who takes a completely passive, escapist attitude towards both the work and the people.
All right, Section 5, Qualities of Effective Leaders. What actually makes a leader?
A truly effective leader needs a really solid balance of head and heart. They need empathy, the capacity to appreciate their subordinates' angles, which is just a massive motivator. They need self-confidence, right? The ability to face tough situations without being afraid to adopt a participative style. They have to maintain objectivity, staying fair and not getting completely carried away by emotions. And of course, they need the knowledge and a crystal clear sense of purpose to actually inspire their team toward the finish line.
And finally, Section 6, the Agile Leader. Welcome to the modern workplace.
This is where we bring everything we've discussed right into the modern era. In traditional leadership, decisions funnel all the way to the top, but in Agile leadership, teams handle them locally. The traditional leader's job is to boss around and dictate. The Agile leader is there to guide and enable. Traditional prioritizes predictability above all else. Agile prioritizes flexibility and fresh ideas. Instead of top-down memos, Agile thrives on constant two-way chats. And rather than just motivating with financial bonuses, Agile fires people up by giving them real meaning and buy-in to the process.
So we've seen how leadership has evolved, right? From this rigid, trait-based autocratic myth into a highly flexible, empathetic, and agile framework that's designed to truly empower people. So I want to leave you with this final thought to evaluate your own workplace dynamics. Are you stuck in the past, or are you absolutely ready to leave traditional management behind and become the agile leader your team actually needs? Think about it. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.